What's going on, guys? Joey here, and gonna try something a little different today. The message will be the same or similar, but just not gonna do a thumbnail. Not gonna do anything. No, not that I do too much with my videos, but I'm not gonna put anything in the background. I'm literally just gonna sit down in this chair and talk. Um, Today I wanted to talk about pressure or stress that you might experience competing at the biggest meet of your life. So not just a local meet, the highest level of competition, maybe a place that took you many years to work for. Maybe you had a dream 5 years ago that you'd be competing um, somewhere, and you finally did what you were able to do, or did what you needed to do to get to that meet. And now, in a few short weeks, few short months, whatever, you have the biggest meet of your life coming up. And to make it, let's put a lot of pressure on it, right? Let's say there's a lot of money up for grabs, like life-changing money. The person you're competing against is a legend, and just by competing against them, you're gonna get a lot of people looking at you, people criticizing everything that you're doing. A lot of pressure is going to be on you from your family, from your friends, from yourself to want to perform at this meet. And I think that is a tough thing for people to deal with, especially your first time. And I will say, um, it is like to be in a situation like that. Many times you'll hear, certain athletes, they will say that they weren't prepared. They'll say that mentally, they'll say that they overthought a lot of things. There's a lot of things in their preparation that normally would be what got them to this level in the first place, but because of the stress of it, because of you know everything that was going on, they changed things didn't normally change, or they wouldn't normally change, and they just made adjustments that was like an overcorrection for something that didn't need to actually be done, and they screw up. And I can think of a couple lifters who I'm not gonna name who like they they prepare just fine. They prepare just fine. Their training looks great, but they just never execute on the platform, or maybe they used to always like kind of screw up whenever it was a high pressure situation. So if they're doing like a random meet, it's fine. They just do the meet, they hit PRs, it's all good. But whenever they compete and there's, that overwhelming, it's relative, right? Sorry. I'm still getting over some sort of something. I don't know. It only gave me a cough. Um, but they're trying to overcome this problem that shows up whenever there's a lot of pressure. And it's a tricky thing because some people, the way that they were raised, the way that they prepare, um, they just do very well in these situations, and they have like a self-confidence about them, and proper guidance, and it just allows them to continue to deliver time after time after time. They almost get powered up by the stress. They feel better or more in their element when there is a lot going on. And I can relate to that. I like being in those moments where the moment is so much bigger than what you're actually doing. You just feel so much like energy, pressure, whether it be good, whether it be negative. You just feel so alive. You're just like, I am supposed to be here. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm thankful that I'm able to experience this. And I feel like over the years, whether it be through competing myself, sorry about that, or just helping my lifters compete, um, if I'm competing, you got the reason why I'm about to say Russ's name. The reason why I always use Russ as an example is because you guys know him, right? He's something that you guys could like. I could use it to relate to. So just for people that are curious, why I always mention those kind of people, because they're known. You guys know them. But whenever we're competing, uh, everything that we do is gonna be like looked at very like much under a microscope, which brings a lot of criticism. It brings a lot of pressure. Everybody's gonna have something to say, and it is not for everyone. Um, that is why everything that we do, it's gonna have more impact, right, on everybody involved. If we screw up, 2019, if we would have bombed out of that meet, that would have came with probably a lot of people, that were preying on our downfall that are just gonna talk about it bad about us now. I was prepared to deal with that because that's my guy, and that's what you do when you're loyal to somebody, right? When you trust somebody, when you have built a relationship over the years, it's not just like, oh, we win together, but only you lose. It's we win together, we lose together, right? Um, that brings a lot of pressure. And I could totally see how, I mean, there have been times when I've put people in situations. I brought this up before in the past. Um, Ryan Lapidat from King of the Lifts, he was the one. He does a lot of commentating for the IPF. He's the one who kind of came up with this, but he always says like, "I'll give the keys to my Lambo to somebody and tell them to drive it." And the first time he said this was when I trusted Isaac Whistler, shout out to Big Isaac, to handle Russ at Worlds. I believe this was right after the world got locked down, I think. Um, it was the first Worlds after the world opened back up, and I was not there. And there's a lot of pressure to put on people. Isaac did good, like we got mission accomplished that meet. But I'm just saying I have put people in situations where my goals and my ambition is a lot for them to deal with, and it's I've learned as somebody who as the team grows, the more that I need to delegate tasks, um, the the more I need to be better about putting the right people in those stressful situations. Not everybody can deal with all that pressure, and for lifters, I do believe it is something that you can learn to get better at. I know of I'm trying really hard not to cough. I know of fighters, like UFC fighters, who would have a lot of stress going into fights and they wouldn't know how to deal with it. It would really mess them up and they would overthink. They would just like they have a plan and then they get to the fight and they just throw the freaking plan out the window and they just lose. Like they're just freestyling it, right? And but I have seen them go through like mental coaching, which is something that you have to really like humble yourself. It's like say, "Hey, I need help with this thing in my mind." And then they've gotten better. Another way I feel is like repetition, so just experiencing those things. And I know that there are people that maybe they will only ever get to do this like the iron is hot now, right? And I say strike when the iron's hot. The iron is hot now. So this is their chance to do something big. And they'll be like, I may not ever get a chance to ever be here again. I'm so nervous. I'm so like, what if I screw up? And you start thinking about all these negative things, and that's like a normal thing. I don't know why this is. Maybe it's because the body is trying to protect us, but for me, I remember every time, the first time I ever squatted into the 750s in a meet, and it was like my first time trying that in a meet, even though I knew I could do it in preparation, all these involuntary negative thoughts came into my head. There's like two brains, right? There's like the logical, like, okay, I'm calculated, this is a calculated number, I know I can do this, and then the emotional animal side that's like, don't do this, you're going to get hurt, why would you ever attempt this, this is something that's going to break you. Sorry. Um, and I just gotta really tell myself like, yo, I'm gonna commit to this squat, and whatever happens, happens, and that is what I signed up for, and I'm just gonna do it. And there's a lot of peace in that mindset. There's a lot of um, comfort in the utter commitment to the task in front of you. When you say I'm going to do this and I don't care what happens after, I mean, you're like unstoppable at that point. You're going to do it. You're going to try to do it. You're going to at least give yourself the best chance to do it if you can't do it. Um and that's something that, I mean, that worked for me, just saying like I'm going to do this and I don't care like whatever the end result is, I'm going to live with it. Um but I think for if I was speaking to someone generally and I didn't know much about them and I said you know okay, you're going to compete in a big competition, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You know, it's worlds, let's say it's Sheffield, let's say it's just like a crazy high level of competition. um I would say the experience that you're going to get as a human trying to do something special is going to be something that's going to make you that much of a better person and help you improve. And I think the more adversity that we encounter and overcome, it really does help us get better. Um, I think I am addicted, like me personally, I'm addicted to those situations. It, like I said, it makes me feel alive. I feel like my best work is when like I'll call a number and I'll be stressed the fuck out. Like, fuck, man, I hope we could do this. Like, we should be able to do it. Everything on paper says we could do it, but are we actually going to do it? Because nobody's ever done it before, right? Which is what happens when you take a world record or something, and you know you're doing all these things that, like, I mean, in my case with this team, this talented team that I have, it's like no one has ever done this. Am I actually doing this right now? Because coming into the sport, everybody told me this is the most that you could do, you know, naturally or whatever. And, you know, over the years, we've blasted through so many of those standards. Um, I'm just, it just like, it's like to the chance to be able to compete and do something special is something that I feel like most people in life don't ever get to experience that. Just normal people, they work like 9 to 5 and they come home, right? That I cherish those moments and I want to be in those moments as much as I possibly can. That's me personally. Some people don't like that feeling. They don't like that uncomfortable feeling of like, you better not mess this up. Um, I'm very lucky that my gut feeling is like usually gonna get me through to the end and help me make the right decisions. But I think you just got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to understand that if the thing that you were doing wasn't special, you probably wouldn't care about it and you wouldn't be nervous and you wouldn't be, you know, like it just shows that you're passionate about what you're doing. You're supposed to be here, perhaps. Um, and you just have to seize that moment. And I think back to the times in my life when I've been in super stressful situations, whether it be coaching or lifting, and I just really try to grab myself and say, I'm here, we're doing this. Like I feel alive right now, and let's give it everything we got. And afterwards, we'll take a look back and we'll be thankful that we had the chance um, to do that. And you know, your fear of failure, I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing in the world, because if you work hard, you know, you're probably gonna be successful. Maybe not all the time, but if you're afraid of failing, that's maybe a healthy fear. But I do think it is okay to be able to accept failure and just kind of own if you make a mistake, and just keep working towards being the best that you can be. Um, yeah, I mean, if you embrace the worst case scenario, I mean, don't get me wrong, like worst case scenario is like you get like permanently injured or something, but the thing, okay, if you're afraid of missing a lift, but you embrace that. Okay, what happens when I miss a lift? Okay, I miss a lift. I have a dent in my total. I learn from it. I do better next time. I'm still alive. My family's still here. You live to fight another day. Um, and sometimes you need to really adopt that live to fight another day mentality. Sometimes you might get into a situation where you're biting off a lot more than you can chew, and you might pay the price for this. So you got to just know it's a fine balance, but I think they say pressure is a privilege. It absolutely is. It is a privilege. Not everybody gets to be in situations where there is a lot of pressure, and you should be thankful for those moments. Um, I think you should attack them. I think you should. I don't think a little pressure is going to make us worse. I think for too long, it's got to be balanced. If you're under pressure constantly, like in your daily life, then that can obviously become negative. But um, I just think competition is a good thing, and it's a privilege to be there. Many people would probably kill to be in your position. Um, I'm somebody that I live through what my lifters do, and when I have a lifter that's a beginner hitting their first PR, competing at their first meet, going 9 for 9, whether I have a lifter who is competing at the highest meet, the biggest meet ever the world has ever seen, putting on the greatest powerlifting performance ever in the world, right? I get it all. I feel all of it. Um, and to be honest, there are a lot of times when obviously some moments are bigger than others, but it's very similar. Like you can do things that are not necessarily as um, like for example, you might be in a game. You may be playing a game with your friends, like a battle royale or something, and you get to that last 1v1 situation. That's stressful, and that could last for a little while, for a couple minutes. And then once you win, you feel this, you're so happy, like you're on top of the world. And when you lose, it sucks. It hurts. It's just a game. But I think going through that, that's probably why I'm addicted to the stressful moments in lifting, is because I grew up on video games. I started playing when I was 5 years old. I haven't been playing much as of late, which makes me sad. I'm looking at my controller over here. It's nice and dusty. Uh, but it's just one of those things that I like the stress of competition, and I think it's if you feel that stress, that's a good thing, and as long as you stay the course and don't veer off from the path that you were on that got you to that special place in the beginning, um, you should be good to go. And you'll probably find yourself in many more of those situations as time goes on. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I am excited to be in stressful situations coming up in 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks. I'll be at Worlds. I'll be there for quite a while, and I get to go through so many ups and downs. Hopefully, sorry about that. My mic cut out. But yeah, I'm gonna watch the 74s, and then there's gonna be a break, and then the meet is gonna continue, and every day I'm gonna have more lifters competing, so I get to experience all of it. And I think something that I've learned, which is a very useful skill in life, is, and I learned this. I'll cut the video after this because I know it's 20 minutes. Um, I learned this at Nationals last year because Nationals was at the exact same time as Worlds. So I would literally, I was in the morning handling the girls at nationals, raw nationals, while watching, um, Mikey compete. I believe Keiko was the day before. You guys know what happened with Keiko. Mikey pulled for the win, and then his opposition had a PR, literally had to hit a lift he never hit before, and chipped him and got it 2-1, so barely got it. Um, so to experience that, those near, like we could have had so many gold medals, right? Just by that close. I was thankful to have experienced that. Granted, I was all the way here in the USA. It hurt like hell to barely lose, and then I had to forget that. I had to instantly forget that and think about the lifter that was right in front of me. I say that like I gotta compartmentalize this, put this over here, and I need to focus on this lifter because she's about to go squat right now. You know what I mean? Um, and that's a very it's not easy. Like you gotta really have control over yourself, and I'm still not perfect, but I'm trying to get better at like just really if you can control your emotions, like you're just gonna be so powerful. So yeah, and dealing with that pressure coming into these big meets is a skill, and I think you get better at it over time, and time just makes you better at everything. So that being said, let me know what you guys think about this type of video. Um, I'm just chilling, talking to you guys. I need a haircut. Damn. We'll be nice and bald tomorrow. Got some travel coming up, but yeah. Just wanted to get on camera and talk to you guys, and just hopefully be able to establish more of a connection. If you made it this far, let me get a hashtag realwood in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.